Thanks, the gentleman. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Cole, Ranking Member McGovern, thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Unfortunately, it appears my Republican colleagues are out of ideas. 2 weeks ago, I was here for a pointless, non-binding resolution that did nothing to improve the situation at the border. This week, it is for multiple bills that are largely duplicative of current law and amount to little more than desperate attempts to score political points by scapegoating and fear-mongering about immigrants. Nor do these bills have much connection with the situation at the border. None of these bills stand any chance of becoming law, nor would they improve our immigration system or make Americans safer. It is long past time for House Republicans to engage in bipartisan discussions to address our broken immigration system. But as Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell laid bare just last week, too many Republicans, led by Donald Trump, want the issue of immigration more than they want to find meaningful solutions. That is the context in which we find ourselves in the Rules Committee today. But while I'm here, let's go through each of these bills. I'll start with H.R. 5585, the Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act. This legislation makes it a crime to flee Border Patrol while operating a vehicle and includes an unnecessary mandatory minimum sentence that runs counter to the bipartisan progress that we have made on criminal justice reform in recent years. While this conduct is largely covered by another criminal statute, which makes it a crime to evade a Border Patrol checkpoint, this legislation also adds significant immigration consequences. Under this bill, the crime of fleeing Border Patrol becomes an inadmissibility and deportability offense. But just as the new crimes in this bill are largely covered by current law, evading or fleeing law enforcement is already an inadmissibility and deportability offense. Where this bill makes a significant change is by not requiring that an individual be convicted of the crime to render them deportable. Doesn't have to be convicted of the crime. While there are exceptions, the majority of the deportability grounds in current law require a conviction. That is because we are dealing with those who are already here and came here lawfully and have often lived in the United States for a long time. We're not talking about illegal immigrants. Remember that someone who is here unlawfully is already removable. Therefore, we are talking about lawful permanent residents, people who have put down roots in our communities, many of whom have U.S. citizens, spouses, and children, and who have truly established themselves here in the United States. By not requiring a conviction before making someone deportable, this bill flies in the face of due process. We have the same issue when it comes to H.R. 6678, the Consequences for Social Security Fraud Act. Convictions for Social Security fraud are largely captured by our current laws. Fraud-related crimes are considered crimes involving moral turpitude, commonly called a CMT. And convictions involving falsely making, forging, counterfeiting, or altering a document that can be used as evidence of authorized stay or employment in the United States is specifically defined as an aggravated felony. A conviction for any of these already makes someone deportable. Unfortunately, the majority once again decides not to require a conviction for people to be deported, and once again places their desire to attack and demonize immigrants before any concern for due process. Then we have H.R. 6976, the Protect Communities from DUIs Act. At least for this bill, the majority requires a conviction to deport a green card holder. Driving under the influence, or DUI, is, of course, a serious issue. No one wants to see individuals who are true threats to public safety eligible for immigration benefits. However, serious DUI convictions already make an individual inadmissible and deportable under current law. DUI, where the maximum possible penalty is a year or more, and where there is serious bodily harm, hit and runs, aggravated DUI, driving with knowledge of an invalid, suspended, or revoked license, are already CIMTs. But this bill goes much further. It does not take into account that DUI statutes across our country are broad and varied. Some states allow DUI prosecutions of individuals who are asleep, inebriated in their car, even if their car was parked in their own driveway. And this is not hypothetical. We know this to be the case because people have actually been prosecuted and convicted for DUI for these minor infractions. This issue and other problems with these bills could have been addressed by amendments that Democrats offered during our markup, but each was rejected on a party line vote. The last bill, H.R. 6679, the No Immigration Benefits for Hamas Terrorist Acts, is very personal to me. On October 7th, Hamas committed a horrific assault on innocent civilians in Israel, murdering 1,200 people, including 32 Americans, killing the most Jewish people in a single day since the Holocaust. Even today, over 110 days later, Hamas continues to hold innocent men, women, and children in captivity. Not a day goes by that I don't think of the hostages and the horrors they continue to endure. Too many lives have been shattered by this attack and the war that followed on both sides of the conflict. This bill has a goal that I strongly support: to ensure that no one involved with the planning or commission of the October 7th attacks can enter the United States or receive any immigration benefit. It is not clear what its purpose is, however, since such individuals are already barred from entry and cannot receive any immigration status. Hamas has been listed as a terrorist organization by the State Department since 1997, and our immigration laws are very broad, saying that the United States merely needs, quote, reason to believe, close quote, that any non-citizen has engaged in terrorist activity, provided material support to terrorists, or is a member or representative of a terrorist organization or a group that endorses or espouses terrorist activity, to be inadmissible to the country. The breadth of this provision is so extensive, it has been used to bar someone from accessing asylum who was forced to cook and clean for a guerrilla group. As such, this bill is largely redundant to current law. Even the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office determined it would have little to no impact because of the breadth of existing law. We asked the majority to work with us to ensure that this legislation had no unintended consequences, and to format this legislation, as we normally do, as visa sanctions legislation. But unfortunately, this request was ignored. For decades, the Judiciary Committee and the Congress have used visa sanctions to target specific individuals engaged in specific events. However, the majority here has chosen a different path and directly amends the Immigration and Nationality Act, something we did not even do after September 11th, when we wanted to target al-Qaeda. I will still support this bill, but I worry that the majority's inability to work with us will doom its chances to become law, making it another meaningless vote. I'm disappointed that they would take this important issue and turn it into a partisan political football. Unfortunately, that seems to be the standard operating procedure under this Republican majority. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I look forward to the committee's questions.